Hi, I'm actually and today we'll be talking about strategic line sets. This particular set is the Trilithium-Laced Weaponry Set from the episode Beyond the Nexus. As always, I recommend that you like, comment, and subscribe if you can. It's very nice. And as with every other mission set, you have to replay the mission, and this time you've got to play three times. And I believe this one may have had its own 3-week event where the rewards were unlocked each week in addition to the bonus reward for that week. Many of these 3-week events had a universal tech upgrade or one specialization point reward for completing it for once per week in the box. And this one can't really be sped up too much, but we do still can speed it up a bit. So more things. Let's cover some notes I've added about this. Now, all stats are shown as being Mark 12 very rare unless noted. Any stat that's missing will be dependent on stat variables upon your own ship. Most unique gear will be usually given at Mark 12 very rare unless noted. So if you attain this a bit below level 50, you will obtain a mark appropriate version of it to match your level, and at very rare. However, this particular item will be freely upgradable to Mark 12 very rare for free. Some more notes I've got to add. Yes, I've got a lot of notes to this one. This particular set contains both a beam and cannon variants of the weapons. In this case, this is a 360 Omni beam array and a turret. Both the beam and cannon variants count as the same piece in the set, so that's the 360 beam and the turret counts as the same item. The 360 or Omni beam array is subject to equip restrictions. You cannot equip another 360 Omni beam array to another set to 360 beam at the same time. This does not apply to the turret in this set, but however, it still requires you can only equip one turret within a given set at once. So let's go on to the actual pieces of hardware itself. So the console, the engineering reinforced armaments. Now it provides a 53.3 power transfer rate, which is about 80% of a standard EPS console at this level, and it gives 20 points in hull restoration and hull capacity. This means that it improves your hull healing and maximum hit points. Nothing fancy about this one. However, power transfer rate is a nice thing to have some points into, as it will increase how fast your power moves between systems and how fast your weapon power recharges after after firing. And trust me, you do need to know a bit about that. There is a phrase I'll cover in later on. You'll find out. Next up is the torpedo. The Trilithium Tricobalt torpedo launcher has a 90-degree tack in its arm, which isn't like most other torpedoes. Launches a Trilithium Tricobalt device. It has a 1K explosion, and to the target's hit, it has approximately 4,140.1 kinetic damage. It varies as the torpedo flies, and similar thing with your primary target gets 591.4 radiation damage according to this, and it also disables for about 1.7 seconds, and anything in radius of the primary target gets punted away with 50 repel. It has 60% critical severity, which means it will probably crit more often, quite a lot. When it crits, it'll crit hard, I mean. And it's on a 30-second recharge. However, you can reduce that down with some abilities if you know where to look. Next up is the Trilithium-Enhanced Omnidirectional Phaser Beam Array. This is a 360 targeting arc, and this does phaser damage, and this takes 10% power, 10 power points to itself when this weapon is firing, like most other weapons, and has a 2.5% chance to get a 10% firing haste for energy weapons for 15 seconds. This means that your weapons will fire 10% faster. And you'll gain also because it has a plus 10 accuracy rating, which is due to the one of the mods being accuracy, and as a 1 second recharge. This particular thing the proc is a nice thing to have, but it's nothing major you can get because it doesn't always you can't always guarantee getting haste on a regular basis. Moving on to the Trilithium-Enhanced Phaser Turret. This is again like the 360 beam. It also has a 360-degree targeting arc, and to the target it does phaser damage and takes less power than the beam array, with 8 power to self when this firing, and like the beam array, increases your firing. It's got 2.5% increase your firing cycle haste by 10% for 15 seconds, and a slightly less some increased critical chance, and a 1 second recharge. Nothing major fancy about these other than the haste proc, as I call them. But if you equip multiple parts, if you remember, the turret and the beam array count as the same part, so as long as you have the turret and the console or the torpedo, you can get so you can get speed tweaks if you have at least two pieces of the set, which you get speed tweaks. This gives a 5% firing cycle haste for all your energy weapons permanently for the time when at least two pieces of the set is on, and it increases your flight speed. Very nice to have. Nothing major, but gets you move around quicker and do a bit more damage because you fire a lot more shots downrange. If you have no 3 pieces set of the bit, this means that you have your beam array or your turret, and the torpedo, and the console. You get reinforced engineering. You get increased damage resistance rating and increased hull capacity. It means that you can take a bit more damage than you need previously have been able to. So very nice to have. But really, big question is, who's this set for? This set is great for phaser-based builds. The phaser's 2.5% proc and the set bonuses, and the two set bonuses increase the fire rate for all energy weapons, which can increase your overall damage because of the theory, more shots down range, the more chance the more damage you'll do. The reinforced adamant console's power rate transfer rate is a nice bonus that helps get your power levels up higher with the right builds. I mean, you hear a lot of people put all your power in energy weapons, and that is pretty much the case. And the power rate is what's not as high as it could be. You may hear the phrase EPS is DPS, because the power transfer console is called the is known as the EPS console. So it's very nice bonus to have, especially when you have other bonuses, other things that the console does at the same time. As a mission reward, this set can be used for many budget phaser builds that require either turrets or beam rays. So very nice to have. The big question is this set good? This is a very good budget option, but for more experienced players, for choices of phasers, well, it's somewhat crowded. All the bonuses are here pretty decent, but the effects aren't as strong as some of the other options later on. This set in with either the beam or the turret can be used into the late game with little trouble. And as always, I recommend pairing this one with the Quantum Phase Catalyst or the Sunrise Weapon Set, so that because it pairs well with this one due to the fact that you get a lot more phaser power out of the ship build. Now, other options really for 360 Omni Beam Ray, there's really one other set for phaser 360 beam ray. This means the Gamma Task Force weapon. This means that you can have the Gamma Task Force weapon or this one. The Gamma Task Force set is actually, in my opinion, is slightly better, but due to the higher cost and being only available on 70-day builds, as what I call them, is the reason why you need to it's not considered all the time. The Gamma Task Force also has a turret, as well as the 8472 Counter Command's heavy turret, which also could be phaser. However, all the set turrets don't have a restriction of how many sets you can actually use at once, so you can run the Gamma Task Force turret, the Counter Command turret, and the into the Nexus turret as well. So really the big question is, do I actually use this set? And the question is, yes, I do. I've used this set on several of my phaser-based ships. Most of the time I don't really show this stuff, as they're often on ships I've not really shown yet, and quite often they are. Most of the time when it's still on towards the later end of the game, it's because it's a nice addition to the ship, not a major component. And quite a few of these builds I've actually replaced them with the Gamma Task Force set pieces. So yeah, this is more or less it. This has been Mike Sharpwriter. See you guys next time.